Welcome to Kyoto, where ancient history and breathtaking beauty collide. In today's adventure, we'll wander through the famous torii gates of Fushimi Inari, uncover the secrets of the historic Nijo Castle, and indulge in some of Kyoto's iconic dishes. Stay tuned for our travel tips, stories, and some scenery along the way. First on the schedule today, waking up fairly early for a visit to the Fushimi Inari Shrine and Mountain. This is one of the top tourist sites in Kyoto, and we were expecting it to be busy, so we started fairly early to try and beat the crowds. The Fushimi Inari Shrine is one of the most important shrines in Kyoto and is dedicated to Inari, the Shinto god of rice. Around the area you'll see plenty of foxes, which are considered the messengers of Inari. Fushimi Inari is known for its temple complex at the bottom here, and also for the orange gates called torii that lead up along the mountain trails. Walking around this bottom area, there's plenty of informative signs, and we learned some cool facts. For example, one of the smaller buildings was built as a home for the gods to live in if the main temple is ever under construction or getting repairs. The temple today is still, of course, a sacred site, with priests performing rituals and pilgrims making prayers. The origin story of the site comes from a miracle where a white swan flew to the top of the mountain and rice began to grow.
Oh, okay. 18? Wait, let me see.
Oh, I have our fortune here. She gave us the wrong number by accident, but maybe that's still part of our fortune, to pull 10 instead of 18. So the translated version is, well, there's a lot of stuff about a village, a sign of life and peace and security. The good thing is I got good luck for the luck section, I guess. So that's a positive. The other stuff is a little bit more like ambiguous, but I think we'll have to look this over and figure out what this means for our futures. We then made our way up some stairs and onto the mountain trail itself. The torii gates start quite large but get smaller as we go on. These gates symbolize the transition from this world to the sacred. There's over 10,000 of them along this mountain. We're visiting Japan in November, which is the second high season along with spring. Japan can get very hot in the summer, so we wanted to try and dodge that heat by coming in the fall. We weren't the only ones with this thought though. Our experience in Kyoto involved a lot of crowds, especially at the most famous tourist sites. Waking up early meant slightly smaller crowds, but there was no escaping them altogether, unless you're out before dawn or very late at night. So we ducked off the main path. It's kind of like a mini bamboo forest here.
Yeah.
Super peaceful. There's like fish in the pond. We're just taking a break in the shade.
It's really hot today. Even though it's fall, it's like 25 but very humid.
Once we made it about halfway up the mountain, we actually ran out of time and had to turn back. Even a short visit here is totally worth it though. I mean, I would have loved to make it all the way up to the top, but we did have afternoon plans. Our afternoon destination on this day was Uji, the matcha capital of Japan. But we'll cover that in another video. I just want to mention it because it's a great plan to package these two destinations together, Uji and Fushimi Inari. They're both on the same side of the city and along the same subway line.
I'm about to try my first strawberry mochi daifuku. It's gonna be a little precarious to eat, so. The strawberry is so sweet. The red bean, perfect sweetness. Not too sweet.
For dinner, we headed back into central Kyoto, specifically Pontocho. This narrow lane is a small pedestrian-only alley, which goes on for several blocks and runs parallel to the river. It's packed full of restaurants. We actually walked up and down its length a few times and found most of the spots were either full or quite expensive. A lot of the offerings were a little bit more premium. However, in a stroke of luck, we were able to get into this famous Kyoto spot, which was on our list of spots to try. We got the signature dish, the beef katsu, which comes pink in the middle. You then finish cooking it to your liking on the grill that's provided. The sides and sauces, the Kyoto curry, dashi soy sauce, and beef cutlet sauce were awesome. This dinner was great and a perfect way to end our first full day in Kyoto. Tuna mayonnaise. Let me see. There we go. So we're trying natto for the first time.
It's fermented soybean.
And it's
Thoughts?
good. It's like kind of salty with like a unique flavor. I can't compare it to anything else, but it's good.
And the
Strong,
texture, look at the
fermented,
texture.
and yeah, super like stringy taste.
So we're at Nijo Castle right now, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, we woke up early to get here and beat the crowds, and we got the interior palace tour as well. It's a really cool historic site. The castle was built in the early 1600s for the first shogun, and there's a lot of really cool historic events that came here and happened here. Super important things just inside the rooms behind us.
Yeah, and we're really interested in this because we just recently watched the Shogun series, so puts things into perspective.
As mentioned, Nijo Castle was built as the Kyoto resident of the first shogun, Tokugawa Ieyasu. Without getting too deep into the history, it was Tokugawa's residence in this city, but not his main home. This castle was built by the first shogun and was also the site of the restoration of imperial rule, or the fall of the Shogun dynasty, some 250 years later. If you're into history, I would recommend getting an audio guide or at least do some Googling to learn about the events that took place here. As for touring the site, there's two main buildings, a wall you can walk on, plus a large garden area to explore, and a small museum that you'll have to pay a little extra for. We paid extra to enter the Ninomaru Palace, which was worth it, although no pictures are allowed inside. The reconstructed interiors were fascinating and took about 20 to 30 minutes to tour. Our first hours in Kyoto were focused on historic sites, of which there are countless. It was so cool to explore the historic capital and learn about the events and traditions that have shaped this country. But there's a lot more to see in this city. Subscribe and stay tuned for more Kyoto adventures. We'll see plenty more sights, some good food, and cafes. Until next time.